In April 2026, an AI model was built that could break into software systems, find vulnerabilities no one knew existed, and generate cyber attacks on its own. And for the first time in the modern AI history, the company that built it refused to release it. Not because it failed, but because it worked too well. This model is called Cloud Mythos. And what makes it important is not just what it can do, but what it represents. Because Mythos is not just another AI upgrade, it is the moment AI crossed a threshold from assisting cybersecurity to automating it, both defensively and offensively. To understand why this matters, we need two separate ideas: AI that writes code and AI that understands systems well enough to break them. For years, models improve it, write better code, explain bugs, suggest fixes. But Mythos introduced something fundamentally different: discover vulnerabilities autonomously, and not just the simple ones. Let's be precise about what that means. Mythos demonstrated zero-day vulnerability discovery across major operating systems, autonomous exploit generation, multi-step attack chaining, no requirement for human expertise. In one case, it constructed a complex browser exploit by combining multiple vulnerabilities, escaping both browser and operating system sandboxes. This is not an incremental improvement, this is a qualitative shift. Previous models struggled to generate working exploits. Mythos succeeded at scale, from near zero success rates to hundreds of successful exploit constructions in testing. And what makes this even more interesting is that this capability was not intentionally designed, it emerged as a side effect of improvements in reasoning code generation, autonomy, in other words, the same intelligence that helps build AI systems also helps it break them. This is a classic dual use technology problem. But with a critical difference, the marginal cost of offense has dropped dramatically. And this brings us to the key decision. Anthropic chose not to release Mythos publicly. Instead, they created a restricted program called Project Glasswing, a closed group of organizations given access for defensive purposes only. On the surface, Glasswing looks like a security initiative, but structurally it is something else. It is a controlled distribution of power. Because access to Mythos is not just technical, it is selective. The organizations included major cloud providers, security firms, cybersecurity firms, global financial institutions, names like Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Nvidia. But one thing stood out: entire regions were excluded. India was one of them. Not a single Indian firm was included, and this created a very specific problem. Because India is not just a user of global software systems, it is a builder. Indian firms maintain critical infrastructure globally: banking systems, healthcare systems, government platforms. If Mythos can find vulnerabilities in that code and Indian firms cannot access it to fix them first, the risk becomes asymmetric. The threat is global, but the defense is not equally distributed. India's response was immediate. High-level meetings were called, financial regulators, technology ministries, central banking authorities, all were involved. The finance minister described the threat as unprecedented, and at another point, as significant as war. This reaction may sound extreme, but it reflects a deeper issue. Modern economies are built on digital infrastructure, payment systems, identity systems, telecom networks. If vulnerabilities in these systems can be discovered faster than they can be patched, you create systemic risk. Take India's UPI system. It processes billions of transactions. It connects hundreds of millions of users. It is one of the most advanced payment systems in the world. And that is why precisely it becomes a target. India wants to use Mythos to scan and secure these systems. But there is a constraint: data localization laws. India requires sensitive financial data to remain within its borders. Mythos operates on controlled infrastructure outside India, which creates a paradox. The most powerful tool for securing the system cannot be used without violating the rules designed to protect it. This is not just a technical problem, it is a governance problem. And India is not alone. Across the world, governments are reacting. Regulators in Japan, Australia, Europe are all evaluating the implications. But a pattern is emerging: a two-tier system where the risks are global, but the tools to manage those risks are concentrated. And this is where conversation shifts from cybersecurity to geopolitics. Anthropic itself framed Mythos as a strategic advantage, something that US and its allies must maintain leadership in, which means access to AI is no longer a technical decision, it's a geopolitical one. And once the access becomes selective, the implications extend beyond security. They affect economic competitiveness, digital sovereignty, global power balance. So Mythos is not just a cybersecurity tool, it is a signal that AI is entering a phase where capabilities scale faster than governance and distribution becomes strategic. There are two timelines to watch. First, the spread of Mythos-like capabilities. Because even if this model is restricted, similar capabilities will eventually emerge elsewhere. Second, the response from other countries. Do they wait for access or do they build their own systems? India is now exploring both, negotiating access and investing in domestic AI capabilities. But there is a critical window between when these tools exist and when defenses catch up. That window is most dangerous. So if you step back, the Mythos story is not about one model, it is about a shift from AI as assistance to AI as capability, from open access to controlled distribution. And the real question is not what can this AI do? The real question is who gets to use it first? Because in systems like this, timing is not just an advantage, it is the difference between securing infrastructure and reacting to failure. If you found this useful, take a second to like the video. It genuinely helps more people discover content like this, and share it with your friends or colleagues who should be paying attention to what's happening in AI right now. Let's set a small target, 1000 likes on this video. And if you want to stay updated on where AI technology and systems are heading, make sure you subscribe. Thank you.